Hello. Hey. Hi. Welcome. Can everybody hear me? Yes? Okay. Good morning and welcome to Impression 5. We're excited to have you here today to celebrate the next creation, the newest creation in our exhibit inventory called Smash, a nuclear adventure, right behind me. Today I'm going to serve as the MC of today's program and also serve as giving some remarks about the general reinvention of Impression 5. If you haven't been to the Science Center in quite some time, welcome back. We've been in a decade of reinvention. It's basically replaced over 90% of the old exhibit inventory and built a whole new vision for the Science Center. That process started about a decade ago, in which we committed to a whole new culture at the Science Center, a culture of innovation and reinvention. And through that, it meant we also had to adopt a culture of building purposeful and intentional partnerships that allowed us to increase the Science Center's capacity to serve our statewide audience and our more hyper-local Greater Lansing community. Today we gather to celebrate the next step in that process, the opening of Smash. This exhibit was made possible by some really fantastic partners, four in general, who made significant financial contributions to make sure that this exhibit was possible. They are TechSmith, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union Desk Drawer Fund, the Facility for Rare Isotope Beams at MSU, and the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs. Please give them all a big round of applause. We've invited some of those partners to have some remarks today, and the first one will be TechSmith. But before Wendy comes up here to speak, I have some things to say about TechSmith. TechSmith has been one of the most significant partners in our reinvention process. With the support, we've been able to professionalize our exhibit design process, meaning really honing in on our ability to do R&D and prototype and test, and also purchase the tools necessary to build really fantastic things. If any of you have ever heard of a CNC router, we have one, thankfully, because of the generosity of TechSmith, and it has helped us basically reinvent the way that we design and fabricate exhibits. That commitment from TechSmith has given us additional capacity to reinvent the Science Center. We're so thankful for that, and today we're so thrilled to have Wendy Hamilton, the CEO of TechSmith, here to share her remarks. Wendy?
The most moving interview I've ever seen was 60 Minutes interview of Ryan Speedo Green. As a child, when he wasn't living in low-income housing in a dangerous neighborhood in Virginia, he was in a JV detention center. He had no hope, no future at age 12. At age 24, he auditioned for the New York Met as an opera singer and beat out 1,000 other candidates. So what does a famous opera singer have to do with the Smash F-Rib exhibit? It has to do with inspiration of our children. Do you hear Mr. Speedo Green talk? He'll talk about the first time on a school field trip he went to go see Carmen, an opera in New York. He had no thought opera was for him or for anyone who looked like him. But he was moved, he fell in love, and he came home and he told everyone around him he wanted to sing for the New York Met. Can you imagine? What went through my mind is, as a mother, as a mentor, as a member of a community, if a child told me they were interested in being an opera singer, I'd be about as lost and clueless as to how to help them as if they told me they wanted to be a nuclear physicist. We need places like Impression 5 in our community to help kids find that inspiration, find their purpose. And if the job outlook is any indication, we need for our community and our country to inspire kids to take STEM careers. And that's why TechSmith has invested in Impression 5 to help find that Ryan Speedo Green-like inspiration in STEM for our children. We are incredibly proud to say that we've invested in Impression 5 for over a decade. And we are incredibly proud and pleased every time of what that team produces. Their perseverance, their passion, and their product is amazing. Please give them all a hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Those are great remarks. Next, we have our fabulous partner from Michigan State University Federal Credit Union and the Desk Drawer Fund, Whitney Anderson.
I'm so excited to be here. So at the credit union, one of our biggest mission points is giving back to the community. And what an amazing community we have. When you think about why we're all here, it's for the youth, because the youth are a part of our future. And when you think about all of the amazing things that we have going on, I'm just so excited to partner with Eric and Impression 5 and be a part of this awesome exhibit. So I hope everybody gets a chance to get back there and check it out. At the credit union, we just started a foundation called the Desk Drawer Fund. I'm the executive director of that foundation. And what it does, one of our main pillars is supporting and empowering our youth. And when you think about what this really means for our community, and when you talked about that inspiration and the opportunity for exposure and learning to people who don't always have the chance to learn about these really amazing topics, that's why we're all here. So I'm excited for the unveiling, and I'm really excited to be a partner, and MSUFCU is proud to be a partner as well. So thank you.
For, I guess, more than a decade now, the Science Center has been partnering specifically with Michigan State University to create several different public programs that have really been focused on creating learning opportunities for families in this community to connect with students and professors at MSU and the research that they're doing. But today, opening SMASH marks the first really permanent investment from Michigan State University into something that's going to be here for at least 5 to 7 years. We're very, very proud of the work that has gone in to create that kind of relationship and that trust in which MSU would invest in Impression 5. And we're thrilled to be able today to introduce the 21st president of Michigan State University, President Stanley.
Well, good morning, everybody. And Eric, thank you so much for that very kind introduction. One of the great things about being president of the university is one often gets to take credit for amazing things that the university is doing, even though one had absolutely nothing to do with it directly, and that certainly applies today. But I'm so proud that MSU is engaged in this way. I think it's obviously consistent with what I'm learning about the university in terms of our focus of extension, of reaching out to the community. As the pioneering land-grant university, that's in our DNA essentially. So it's nice to see it playing out in such a wonderful way. And this museum is spectacular, by the way. I've had a chance just to see a little bit of it. It really makes me wish my children were young again, and I could actually bring them here because they would have really enjoyed it in there back in the day. But I actually have one grandchild, and so when they come to visit, you can count on Una, that's her name, making an appearance at SMASH and at the Science Center. As I said, this is really a wonderful partnership, I think, between MSU and the Science Center. And I want to thank the staff at Impression 5. From what I've heard, I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've heard, it's this fantastic work that they've done. So please join me in thanking them. So STEM is incredibly important, and one of the things that, of course, that we focus on at Michigan State University is STEM, and particularly STEM education as well. We have one of the best education departments in the country. So really that interface between the amazing research work that's going on at MSU, the education we're doing with our students as well, really makes us have a high interest in STEM. And as we think about the preparation of students and the needs of the country, again, we remain focused on STEM. And this has been a growing part of the university. So at MSU, the number of credit hours in STEM over the past 10 years have increased more than 40%, which is impressive. At the institution I came from, Stony Brook, our engineering school grew 70% in terms of enrollment in the 7 years I was there. So STEM is really important. But getting children interested early, getting people interested early in STEM is really important. And that's why, again, I think exhibits like we have today and the Science Center as a whole is really important in playing a role in doing that. So again, I'm excited that we can have the chance to do that. And at MSU, we're building a new building. You may have seen on campus, you can see it under construction. It's wood construction to a large degree, which is really cool. You don't see that nowadays, so that's nice and green, and so that's important. But that building will support about 5,000 students annually in STEM education. So again, that I think will make a real difference. And it's not just the science students. I want to emphasize that. One of the things we know is that everyone benefits from science literacy. The more people who understand science is so important in technology to everything we do every day. So the earlier we can start, the more people understand about science and both the risks and benefits associated with science, the better we'll be. And the flip holds as well. The more scientists understand the humanities and the arts, the more effective they're going to be in their roles. One of the key things scientists need to do is communicate. And you learn communication skills in English class, in history class, when you're defending an idea in philosophy. Critical thinking is a critical part. So that's something universities do. And again, this thing of sharing, going back and forth between art, and there's going to be art sounded in how this is presented, the communications of science, all those things I think will help build it. So I couldn't be more excited about what we're doing. Again, this is one of the first outreaches I've done. Can't think of a more fun or better one to do, so thank you for inviting me. This SMASH exhibit is really going to be a great way to inspire kids to have an interest in nuclear science. And nuclear science is one of the most important areas of science. It's important not only because it helps us understand kind of the nature of the universe, but also because there's very important medical components to nuclear science as well. I'm an MD by training, so I'm not going to bore you with all of them. But you know, when we talk about isotopes today, isotopes has important for nuclear physics, important for our understanding of the universe, but also actually is really important in healthcare, both in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases. So let me introduce someone who knows a heck of a lot more about nuclear physics than I do, and that's Thomas Glassmacher, who's the laboratory director and project director for EFRIB. Thomas came to MSU in 1992, was doing research in intermediate energy nuclear physics, and he'll tell you what intermediate energy is, or maybe he won't, but you can ask him later. He's a member of the Department of Physics and Astronomy faculty and the National Superconducting Cyclotron Laboratory, where he's the University Distinguished Professor. And very importantly for all of us in this area, science in general and our economy, he led the team that prepared the winning proposal for the U.S. Department of Energy for the EFRIB, the Facility for Rare Isotope Beams, and that's an incredible boon, as all of you know, to this region. So he and his team have done a wonderful job of introducing nuclear science to our community and EFRIB to the public through open houses, school programs, and now with this exhibit. Please welcome Thomas Glassmacher, and again, thank you for your support.
Thank you for those kind words, President Stanley, and I'm really, really excited to be here. Nuclear science in this community in MSU has a long tradition. President Hanna in 1959 hired somebody, Henry Glosser from Tennessee, and he built the first cyclotron here. He then went on to build the world's superconducting cyclotron, then the largest superconducting cyclotron, and that 30 years ago enabled us to make the first rare isotopes here. And based on that capability of making rare isotopes, we thought when the country considered a new rare isotope facility that it should come to Michigan. And so in 2008, in the spring, 1 year before unemployment peaked in Michigan in 2009, we were sitting in Akers Hall, 3 people, a team that grew to 40 to write the proposal. We always thought we would probably not win because that was a bit unprecedented, but we tried to do a good job because we believed it was important. And then the Department of Energy chose MSU in December 2008, and then for the last 11 years, we've been fortunate and humbled to be building efforts so the country has a world-class scientific opportunity. But throughout all this time, we always thought there's 2 additional benefits putting effort at MSU. One is that we can educate the next generation of scientists because we are a university. People come to universities to learn, and the other thing I always thought is a thing like this. If we can inspire folks, your story was great, Lenny, and that's how people get into fields. They see something and they want to do it. So I'm just so thrilled that together with MSU Credit Union and TechSmith, Impression 5 put this together. So thank you to all of you who made this happen. This is just kind of rounding out effort by getting to the 5 to 7 year olds and inspiring them about nuclear science. Thank you.
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Michaela Balzer, but don't come up here yet, Mika, I have some words to say. Michaela is the Director of Innovation and Learning here at Impression 5, and for over 25 years, she has poured her heart and her passion and her talent into this Science Center. She has led the redevelopment process that has completely reinvented the exhibits and the educational programs at the Science Center, resulting in record-setting attendance numbers and a new level of relevance within the STEM education community. Recently, Michaela's work in a joint international equity and STEM education research project has put Impression 5 in the room where it happens. Have you guys seen Hamilton? All right, in the room where it happens. With respect to creating leading-edge STEM education practice. Michaela, thank you for all that you do. Please welcome Michaela to the podium.
Thank you, Eric. I'm so excited for this new exhibit. And I have the privilege today to represent the Impression 5 team. And I really want to take a moment to highlight the work and the talent of the professional individuals who brought forth these ideas to actuality. So without first, I would like to introduce, and if you're here, raise your hand or stand up, the outreach committee from FRIB. They were the ones that brought the idea of what this could be to Impression 5. So if you're here, please raise your hand so we can see you and celebrate you. They made a giant list of all the goals that needed to be part of this exhibit, and we were excited and challenged by this list of things that needed to be accomplished to make this exciting. So thank you. I would like to also introduce our communications team, Laura Zeller and Madison Kopman, if you're here. They've been working endlessly, lots of hours, lots of time, lots of energy to create not only what the messaging will be about for this exhibit, but to continue to motivate guests to visit and to engage into this wonderful experience. And they continuously work endlessly to communicate on social media and to connect to our guests in so many different ways to excite them, not only about this new exhibit, but about all the things that Impression 5 has to offer. I'd like to say a special thank you to the Piper and Gold team, wherever they may be. They have helped make this event super possible, and we could not be more thankful to them. We have a facility team here at the Science Center, and I'd like to mention some of them, even though they're not here. Some of them might be here in the area. We have Liam Lynch, Abe Ebensam Hunt, Kyle Miller, and Amelia Treadle, and they worked so hard to make sure that this facility is beautiful and ready to receive guests every single day. And most importantly, they prepared the space for this exhibit, which meant knocking down old walls and lighting and painting and doing so much amazing work to prepare for an exhibit like this. We also had some specialists that were part of this project. Nell Floater, our artist in hand, who's amazing. You will see a lot of her hand-drawn illustrations as part of this exhibit. When we were thinking about how we tell this visual story of what items are doing or how they're being represented, an image that was just on stock was not going to be good enough. So, of course, Nell joined the team and designed some beautiful art, but also scientific art to help explain some of those things, and we're so thankful. We also have Fran Russell, our graphic designer for the exhibit. Super amazing. All the labels that you will see in this exhibit have all been designed. She also gave us our brand, Smash. And we're so excited for that. So thank you so much, Fran. We have a special guest, Robin Miller, who happens to be the son of one of our staff members, and he did a lot of programming for the Arduino boards that have been here at the Science Center in this exhibit. So a lot of these components need to be reset, or they have readers or automatic responses to guests as they're doing the engagement, and they're all built on these Arduino boards, and Robin has programmed them all, and we are so thankful that he was part of this team. I don't know if he's here today. His dad is right there, yeah. Good job with Robin, by the way. We also have two friends from the Lansing Maker Network. We have Michael Flagga and Brian Adams, Communities and partnerships are pretty amazing, and our community is so fortunate to have partnerships like the Lansing Makers Network, who was willing to step up to the plate. Again, we had these Arduino boards that needed to be programmed, but we needed them soldered first. And it's endless, tedious, specific work. And these two gentlemen said, yep, we got it. We have the expertise, and we're happy to join. And so at the last minute, they joined in, and it was an incredible amount of work that they did. And so thank you. Last but definitely not least, we had a last-minute volunteer. Don't you love those? I love those. They said, I will do anything. And so yesterday, Tudor Big showed up to the organization and said, tell me what to do. And that's exactly, he cleaned things up. He picked nails from the exhibit floor area. He mopped the floor. He cleaned. And things like this even though they're small, they are so significant in making today possible. And we couldn't be thankful for a volunteer willing to step up and clean and help the exhibit process go a little bit further. So this is amazing work by incredible people. But one thing that I definitely, before I leave and we get to celebrate this exhibit, I really want to talk about something specific. Did you know that in nature, the greater species diversity ensures natural sustainability for all life forms, which means the greater diversity there is, the stronger it will be for all those life forms. This strength and diversity is not only related in nature or needed in nature, but also in many science cultures. Science conversations, discoveries, and work depend on the strengths of different points of view, different experiences, and all that the diversity brings. And if we have to hope to create science laboratories that are diverse with people's backgrounds, genders, experience, then we must continue the conversation of how to create more places that are effective in equitable STEM education. Impression 5 is so proud to have been awarded and been part of an ongoing NSF research that explores equitable STEM pathways. This partnership is with Michigan State University, Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, University of College of London, and many other local partners, which allows us to research the importance of identity, and most specifically, youth science identity. How can traditionally marginalized youth, like women or people of color, enter science communities of practice? How can we garner expertise and voice needed to be included? The research points to a very complex solution in a long-term practice, but all of them are rooted in identity. It is not about just the invitation to participate in science. It is about the process of gaining and sharing authority in these spaces. That is where the importance lies. That is where identity is created, where children can just see people like themselves represented in exhibits. When the outreach committee came with their long list, one of those items on that list included humanizing nuclear scientists, showing who they are, their faces, and the work that they do, and the diversity that exists already inside the lab. And so we're very, very proud because inside this exhibit you will see videos of nuclear scientists, people that are working in the lab that all have a variety of backgrounds and look very differently from one another. And that is amazing because I know that a young girl or a child of color is going to walk into that exhibit and be able to engage in a video which will they see themselves and be excited about maybe the pathway in science for themselves. And that, my friends, is exactly why we exist here at the Science Center. This is why we exude the things that we do. And this is what keeps us up every day, gets us up early in the morning, because we know the youth are coming and we are prepared to give them the images that they need and the experiences to engage in science education. Thank you.
Two more things. Can I please have Cyrus, Derek, Matt, and Kevin please come right up here on this ramp. You might guess that these are the guys that designed and built everything because they're kind of walking slowly through the crowd. I think they left the Science Center about 4 a.m. last night after hanging the beautiful smash sign but I get the pleasure of thanking all of you for your intense passion and work, your creativity, and your talent. It takes us anywhere from 18 to 24 months to develop and fabricate our own exhibits. Most science centers buy their stuff off the shelf. They get it from other places. We made the decision to make sure that we build our own stuff so we can have real, unique experiences for this community and beyond. And this team is the one that did it. Please give them a big round of applause. Okay, so now it's time for the photo op and the unveil. So if I can have all of the speakers join me on the ramp over here, please. Then we're gonna do a 3, 2, 1 countdown. We're gonna clip a little fish line that you can't see, and all those balloons are gonna fall. And then everybody can enter and enjoy Smash. Thank you all for coming. Okay, speakers. All right, so we're going to line both sides. We're going to take a picture straight up. So we're just going to have...
You guys want to help us move it? Or are you okay with the shot? This one
Alright, so now I'm going to do this tricky behind the back thing. And we'll do a big countdown. Ready? 3, 2, 1!
largest row. So 4 blues is a free